this wild world does definitely not need more people with gifts and honest offerings playing small in the world. If this sounds like it may be you, definitely been there in the past and deal with my own pieces on that. And I want to introduce you to my friend and inspiring teacher, Collette. And she has, moved through this own process for herself and is having a free webinar coming up about how to kind of meet the parts of you that are in between you and offering your gifts, and how to not be a humble healer. That's what the course is called. The link to the webinar is below, and it's completely free. And I'll also provide a link so that you can learn a little bit more about the course if you're interested. I will be taking the course, which I'm very excited to be, which is why I'm happily sharing this information. I hope you enjoy these classes with her.
How do I make a living as a yoga teacher? How about we switch from making a living as a yoga teacher, which is very difficult, to living yoga, to our lives being a devotional act, to everything on our lives being an offering to the divine. I've got a few sweet quotes here from Poised for Grace by Douglas Brooks, which is a tantric interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita. It says, "We change the world just by the ways we live in it, and through every contribution we make." We change the world just by the ways we live in it. So what are the ways that we are living in the world? Are we grasping and reaching and comparing and in our limited stories and in a kind of suffocating poverty mindset? Or are we living in the world? Are the ways that we're living in the world coming from a deep sense of communion and relationship with something bigger than ourselves? Are we living and breathing the teachings of yoga? Are they permeating the ways that we are perceiving and relating to the world around us? And if they are, then that's going to start to create a big shift. So for example, instead of your business or your brand being a business or a brand, what if, and this is the way that I view Samavesha, which is the online yoga school that I'm in service of. It's not my school, but I have always felt there was a certain moment in time where there was a shift, and that's when everything started to just expand and blossom and bloom, was when I started to feel like the school was this own living, breathing, pulsing organism, that it was constantly shifting and changing, and all of the beautiful beings that came in and offered in, and we work in the circle way, which makes a big difference. So it's a circular community, it's not hierarchical. And so it felt like everybody that was coming in was really pouring and feeding into her, and she was pulsing and radiating and becoming more vibrant and bright and beautiful. The more energy that was poured into her, the more that she was offering out, and there was this beautiful reciprocity. And so it really felt like, wow, it's like she's her own organism, she's the Devi. And I'm rooted in a goddess tradition, Sri Vidya, and also Trika Shaivism. It was the lineage that I was devoted to for a long time and still am. But these days, Sri Vidya is where I'm more called. And so it really felt like Samavesha is the Devi. She is the goddess. And so everything I do is a devotional act in offering and in service to that. And what that also does is it means that it disrupts my ego. So it's not my school and it's not about me. It's about the community, it's about the teachings, it's about the ways in which we offer to each other and offer back. We offer out and we offer back and we offer out, we offer back, and we offer into this really mysterious, magical power that is the school. So what would it be like if you also viewed your own business, your own brand, as this living, breathing, pulsing, mysterious entity that you could offer to, that you were the humble servant of? And when you start to kind of move into that dynamic, there is a shift where then you start to receive visions and downloads and I mean, that all sounds very new agey, doesn't it? But it's true. Like, you sit in meditation and there's a curriculum, there's the idea, that's the direction, this is what's happening next. And it gets conjured up from the depths and the sediment and the rich, fertile soil of your intuition, of your inner teacher, of your soul, that it speaks to you and comes online and guides you. Dharma is about making our best choices, seizing upon opportunities and creating a structure that would allow us to build a future. Right, that's a great practical way to think about Dharma. And Dharma is essentially aligned action. What is in alignment with the divine current? What is in alignment with the flow of life? Not what is coming from your conditioned response and all of your stories and all of your all of that. No, let's get quiet. Let's get clear. What's the deeper current? Where's it taking me? That's your dharmic thread. Everything else is noise. Everything else is conditioned response. Everything else is karma that keeps you in the wheel of samsara. Dharma is about making our best choices, seizing upon opportunities, and creating a structure that will allow us to build a future. Great. So how can you do those three things for your business, your Dharma right now? How are you making your best choices? How are you making choices? Where is it coming from? Are you sitting in meditation and getting clear before you make choices? Seizing upon opportunities. Are you putting yourself in the way of opportunities? Creating a structure that will allow us to build a future. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so I love a bit of structure. We must recognize Dharma, the real nature of the self inside, in order to live Dharma outside. We must recognize Dharma inside, the real nature of the self, in order to recognize Dharma outside. We must be willing to enter challenges of intimacy, however importunate, if we are to have a conversation that goes to the heart of the matters. And of course, this brings us into the importance of you doing your work right now. And this was something that I had to come to terms with and be honest about and face up to, of how was I limiting this being that wanted to grow and reach and touch and call in more people. I was very much limiting Samavesha because I was like, oh, this is sacred and I cannot, money, business, oh, they don't go together. And I had a conversation with my old accountant. I have a different accountant now, but I'm very grateful for this old accountant. It was an old guy, like, he didn't understand what I did and what my work was. And he was like, and I was also been a brand consultant for a very long time, I don't know, 15 years or something, and a copywriter for 20 years. And I was always running two businesses. I had the brand consultancy, the copywriting business, and then the school was growing in the background. Started off teaching yoga classes, running retreats, then started to do immersions, trainings. The school kind of then just birthed itself. And he was like, well, the tax man's going to think this is a hobby because it's never made any profit. And I was like, this is not a hobby. This is my dharma. And this is my calling. And, you don't understand what it is that I'm doing. But he had a very good point. Like, in order for her to widen her reach, in order for the community to grow in a way that doesn't lose contact with the center and the heart, the beating heart of the Devi that is Samavesha, in order for the community to grow and ripple out in organic waves, it needs to be financially resourced, and I need to have money coming in. And that is what has then happened in the last 18 months. I did a coaching course. It cost me $2,000. I didn't have that money at the time. I hadn't had any work coming in for my brand consultancy and copywriting for 4 months, which was the first time in the 15 years that I'd had that business. it had gone very, very quiet. I was like, I think it's time. I think it's time. I'm being told. So I trust. Like, the upper level is, oh my God, there's no work. I've got no money. No. What's happening? The deeper current was, it's time. Let's do this. I spent what was, my lower savings. I was running out. Spent it on this coaching course. I was doing this coaching course. Like, I can do this. I could do that. And I spent the next 12, 18 months implementing everything I learned on that course and weaving together all of my knowledge as a brand consultant and copywriter, all of the wealth of marketing knowledge that I've gathered over the 2 decades, with all of the wealth of knowledge that I've gathered from building an online school over the last 6 years and building many, many, many courses. I have an online a monthly membership. I run 2 online teacher trainings, a 250-hour and a 300-hour. I have a 10-week group coaching program. And so I implemented all those things, and then that's what I want to share with you. So all the information is below in the comments, and I hope we get to meet.